And I figured you want to do the Hurts part, and you also don't like to be mean, and this is going to come across as
It's
a little
not supposed to be mean.
What I'm going to do is about Herbert. I mean, come on, man. He's the same high school class as Nick Bosa. He's the same draft class as Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and CeeDee Lamb. Do we consider them based, like, what we think of those guys is based on what they one day will be, what they could be? Or is it no? They're on well into their second contract, all pro, awesome. Justin Herbert is obviously has a bunch of measurables, but he has played 81 NFL games at this point. 81. And he's never led the league in anything except for last year. He led the league in interception percentage, unless, of course, you include the playoff game, in which case he fell right to the middle of the pack when he threw more picks in the playoff game than he did in the regular season.
You know what everybody likes, just quickly, caveat? The first 5 years for him.
So,
most yards ever.
He was something.
No,
the numbers were crazy.
No, and it's still true. Like, the most passing yards ever through 5 years is him. I am not as moved by that because some of that has to be with, I know Brady wasn't putting up huge numbers, but guys like Brady, Mahomes, and Favre didn't play their first year. Aaron didn't play his first 3. You know what I mean? Like, so that to me, he has been durable, and I think he's very talented. But when you have played in 2 playoff games and 1 de facto playoff game, and these are your numbers compared to your regular season, I have a fair question over whether or not you're not a big game guy.
Okay. We've already done this before, where I showed you Justin Herbert's playoff stats, and where I compared them to none other than Patrick Mahomes, and against the same team, and what Justin Herbert did in his first ever playoff game against the Jags, and what Patrick Mahomes did in his first playoff game, and what he did against that same Jags team and whatnot. And to try to put some of this stuff on Justin Herbert is just so absurd. I mean, it really, really is. And obviously, the last game weighed him down tremendously. And that game was a disaster for a lot of reasons when you look at the amount of pressure and how bad that O-line was and who he was throwing to. You know, the same thing that happened to Patrick Mahomes in the literal Super Bowl, okay? So it's just absurd that you want to defend and explain why a quarterback is so bad with a bad O-line or this or that, and then have his O-line just get completely dominated in the playoffs against the Houston Texans. And you want to talk about interceptions, where some of these interceptions are literally just going through the hands of his receivers, where his only weapon is a rookie slot receiver that he's somehow supposed to just make magic out of nothing. And an absolute inconsistent and downright terrible run game. And you just want to put that on Justin Herbert. And has been coached by coaches who will never, ever be head coaches in the NFL ever again. And yet he's somehow supposed to try to find ways to win. And yet when he did have a great offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen, he played out of his mind. And when you want to talk about like other players and where they're in, again, these are videos that I've already made, and that's why I'm just not going to go back and just keep doing it. But the team that Patrick Mahomes got to, the amount of Pro Bowls and All Pros and the players that he got to play with, compared to who Justin Herbert got with, who was on his team. I mean, like it's just not even close. It's not even close. I mean, Justin Herbert, most passing yards in quarterback's first 2 seasons. Most passing yards in a quarterback's first 3 seasons. Most passing yards in a quarterback's first 4 seasons. Most passing yards in a quarterback's first 5 seasons. Most completions in a quarterback's first 5 seasons. Most passing touchdowns by a rookie quarterback. Most total touchdowns by a rookie quarterback. Most 300-yard passing games by a rookie quarterback. Most completions by a rookie quarterback. Most games with at least 3 touchdown passes by a rookie. Most total touchdowns in a quarterback's first 2 seasons. First quarterback to record 30 touchdown passes in each of his first 2 seasons. Most completions in his first 50 NFL games. Is that not good enough now? Because now it's not saying rookie year or this. It's just saying in their first 50 games. Okay? In their first 50 games. 1,316. Most consecutive seasons of 4,000 passing yards to begin a career. Sure, but he's not good. And that's just using stats, man. And that's why I hate using just stats or, all pros, Pro Bowl, MVP, Super Bowl performances, or Super Bowl appearances as some sort of these are the accomplishments you need. In 2021, when Justin Herbert had his 5,000 passing yard season, okay? You can see Patrick Mahomes is number 1 up there. Behind the line of scrimmage throws. You guys know I'm on this recently. Justin Herbert only threw 439 yards behind the line of scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, in his 5,000-yard season, led the NFL yet again. 785 yards and 8 touchdowns. Do you think that helps you out at all a little bit? In 2018, screen passes. Patrick Mahomes, 6 touchdowns, 653 yards. Justin Herbert, as you can see in 2021, Patrick Mahomes was also number 1, 7 touchdowns. Again, another shocking surprise here. Justin Herbert, where are you? Oh, only 21st in the NFL, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's weird. So weird. And yet, when he actually had a great offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen, he was top 3 in screen passes. Still well below that of Patrick Mahomes, only 2 touchdowns, but at least getting up there, right? Moving on up, or actually moving on down, since that was, also as a rookie. Justin Herbert, number 2 behind the line of scrimmage that year with 637 yards as a rookie. Still only 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, he's got 7. Andy Reid, man, he's good. But still, you could see how a coordinator can actually help support your quarterback and your offense. Again, no one does it like the GOAT Andy Reid, but, still a thing. I mean, you want to know, okay, maybe Justin Herbert isn't leading the NFL things, but under pressure, strictly under pressure, top 6 in completion percentage, really top 5. Patrick Mahomes has a lower completion percentage under pressure than Mason Rudolph and Drake May and Kyler Murray and Sam Darnold. Patrick Mahomes is 15th, 49.7, 6.3 yards per attempt. Justin Herbert's 6.6 yards per attempt. Passer rating, everybody always loves passer rating. Who's higher? 77.9 for Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes, 74.1. What about when we get a nice, clean, beautiful pocket? Justin Herbert, 3,024 yards. Patrick Mahomes, 2,933. We know a bunch of those are also coming from behind the line of scrimmage and screen passes, but it's okay. 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Justin Herbert, 18 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 8.1 yards per attempt. Patrick Mahomes, 6.9. Justin Herbert ranked top 3 in a clean pocket, according to PFF. Patrick Mahomes all the way down to 15th, below Jordan Love and Jameis Winston. Yikes. So, again, if you want to say that what Justin Herbert's been doing is not impressive, well, then neither is Patrick Mahomes. And if you want to say, oh, well, he's won games and playoffs and this or that, and it's like, again, this is where we just always go in circles here with team success, though, then. And if you want to use team success, well, then Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and this past year better than Patrick Mahomes. And yet no one's saying that. Nobody's saying that. So that's why it's what criteria do you want to use? And I have no interest right now in having the conversation of should Hurts be ahead of Herbert or Herbert ahead of Hurts. It's more just to attack the slander towards Justin Herbert. He's just magically supposed to overcome a poorly run franchise, injured roster, bad head coaching, bad coordinating, whatever it may be, depending on the year at the time. And then you want to use misleading playoff representations. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, in his first ever playoff game, 27 for 41, 278 yards, 6.8 yards per attempt, 4 sacks, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 85.2 passer rating. And they rushed for 180 yards. Justin Herbert, on the other hand, 273 yards, 6.3 yards per attempt, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, 3 sacks, and a passer rating of 84.7. Except his team literally could not run the ball. 35 yards from Eckler, Kelly 20 yards. Justin Herbert had to throw in 12 for good measure. They literally couldn't break 60 without Justin Herbert's 12 yards. And his team gave up 31. Patrick Mahomes, 13. Against a retiring, broken down, bodied Andrew Luck. I mean, Justin Herbert in that first playoff game they were 8 for 17 on third down. 8 for 17. We know they weren't rushing first downs. They only had 4 rushing downs in the rushing first downs in the whole game. 4. I mean, Patrick Mahomes on third down, the Chiefs were 4 for 14. The Colts were 0 for 9 on third down. 0 for 9. So again, Justin Herbert literally played better in his first ever playoff game than Patrick Mahomes did in his first ever playoff game. And his team was clearly worse. They couldn't run the ball. And they were going up against a better team, a more formidable foe. And his defense, because now in 22 they played the same team. The Chiefs versus the Jags. Justin Herbert's defense gave up 31. Patrick Mahomes' defense only gave up 20. Justin Herbert's offense scored 30 points. Kansas City Chiefs only scored 27 points. They were able to run the ball 144 yards. As I showed you before, the Chargers only ran the ball 67. It's a little bit different, don't you think? Patrick Mahomes threw a whopping 195 yards, 22 for 30, 2 touchdowns. I mean, literally, Chad Henne got in there and led a 98-yard touchdown drive. People will be like, well, Patrick Mahomes is banged up. Patrick Mahomes is banged up. Right, I know. I love how only Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback in the history of the world to only ever get credit for playing banged up. Like, he's the only quarterback to ever do it. Like, I love it. Like, Jalen Hurts didn't get his knee absolutely shredded in the divisional round. And in fact, you had someone like Nick Wright say, I don't think he's going to be able to play and be good in the NFC Championship game against the Commanders. And then Jalen Hurts balls out, and it's like, nothing. Not even a whisper. No mention of it at all. It's like it never happened. It's like, oh, okay. So we only talk about it when it's Patrick Mahomes. That makes sense. That totally makes sense. Got it. And then we have the audacity to pretend like Justin Herbert, because he did the 2 playoff games, and then he said, and the win and you're in game against the Raiders. We have the audacity to act like Justin Herbert, who was asked to throw the ball 64 times. 64 times. And threw for 383 yards and 3 touchdowns. And again, they only ran the ball 85 yards. 84 without Justin Herbert's rushing yard. 84 rushing yards. But we want to blame Justin Herbert, which, by the way, there was 6 drops in that game. 6 drops. Justin Herbert would have had a 70% adjusted completion percentage, but there was 6 drops, and he was pressured 22 times. 22 times he was pressured. You know, when everyone had a panic attack about Patrick Mahomes against Philadelphia Eagles, that was only like 17 times, 16 times. But Justin Herbert doesn't get that benefit of the doubt. Justin Herbert actually had a legitimate passer rating and threw for multiple touchdowns in it. Wasn't relying on garbage time touchdowns while Nick Sirianni's drenched in Gatorade. 6 drops in the game. I mean, that's pretty stunning. That really is. 5 big-time throws, 3 touchdowns. And again, he was asked to throw the ball over 60 times. I mean, that's pretty wild. And surprise, surprise, the Kansas City Chiefs, when they played that same Raiders team, the Raiders only scored 14 points. And then in the other game, they only scored 9 points. So in 2 games, they scored less points than what that Chargers defense gave up. I guess that's Justin Herbert's fault. I mean, that win and you're in game was so famously terribly mismanaged by Staley. People were stunned that he didn't get fired the following season. They were blown away. The Chargers that game were 6 of 7 on 4th down. The 6 conversions set a new single-season game record since the statistic started being recorded in 1991. This record holds as of 2022. I don't know if it's still there, 23, 24, I don't know. Los Angeles reached 4th and 1 at their own 18. On the next possession, Staley opted to go for it, but Eckler was stopped for a loss of 2 yards, setting up a Raiders field goal. Wow. Should I talk about the missed field goal too? This is why stats can be so misleading. Like, really. Like, seriously. Okay. Make it look like he can't play big in big games, or that his performance absolutely drops off. Let's not talk about just awful, terrible coaching. Let's not talk about his team failing. Let's not talk about O-line, lack of run game. Let's not talk about any of those things, because Justin Herbert is just supposed to magically overcome all of these things, especially when they're all combined together at the same time. That makes total sense. That makes total sense. Wake me up when Patrick Mahomes' number one weapon is a rookie. And that's it. And has a terrible O-line. Let me know when that happens. Because he's had Travis Kelce every single year. Every single year. And when he entered the league, he had obviously Tyreek Hill as well. But even when he lost Tyreek Hill, still had Big Daddy Travis Kelce. Who, as Nick Wright says, is the greatest playoff performer of all time. Who also had huge playoff performances before Patrick Mahomes. Interesting. Interesting. It makes sense. It makes sense. This is where graphics can be so wildly misleading. A completion percentage of 52.5. Okay. A record of 0-3. It's like, okay. Touchdown to interception ratio. It's like, okay. Yards per pass. Like, okay. Passer rating. Okay. This is why you actually need legitimate context. This is why you actually need to watch the games. You have to actually see how they unfold. I mean, this right here makes it look like that Justin Herbert can't handle the moment. And that's just not true. I'm not going to go through the replays. I've already done that before, especially for that game against the Texans. I mean, yeah. It's trying to convince people that Justin Herbert is actually not a good quarterback is one of the more bizarre things that I've observed making these videos. I didn't realize that was a thing. I really didn't. There's a lot of conversations that I was unaware of that were unfolding and what people believe in. But I guess it really does just boil down to me Chiefs, them not, they bad, me not. Like that's really just ultimately what it gets reduced down to. And it's just hilarious then. I mean, Justin Herbert's not a good quarterback. Bo Nix is not a good quarterback. You know, Derek Carr's not a good quarterback. Whoever the heck the merry-go-round of quarterbacks that the Broncos had before, Bo Nix and the coaching staff. And all, it's just like all those teams are trash, bad quarterbacks, bad everything. It's like, then stop pretending like the Kansas City Chiefs winning that division means anything. It means nothing. It literally means nothing then. You've just beaten terrible teams and you've been able to boost your record up and be able to get favorable home field advantages and buys and whatnot. You've just been feasting on just trash. Just bad play of coachings of coaches and players and quarterbacks. And that run makes sense, I guess. Just don't call it impressive. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Justin Herbert? Not only being a top 7 quarterback, but as well as, I guess, just being an awful playoff performer. He chokes. He's not good. He loses games. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.